Let's get back into this news, though. We got 3 batches of articles before we get on this game. We got a lot to talk about. And the first thing I want to talk about is the fact that Japan has declared war on artificial intelligence. That's right. A Japanese game studio is now asking art applicants to draw a picture during their interview to prove they are not using generative AI. A new article on Japanese news site website Daily Shinko focuses on a tourism association decision to cancel a 20-year art contest because it was becoming impossible to tell which entries were genuinely human-created artwork and which were generated by AI. The article goes on to look at other ways in which generative AI is affecting businesses and cites an unnamed mid-sized studio, a mid-sized Japanese video game developer, which has changed its interview process for applicants seeking art roles. According to a source, simply referred to as Mr. B, who serves as the chief graphic designer at the studio, anyone who now applies for an art role now has to create something during the actual interview process, rather than the previous method of submitting a portfolio showing a past examples of their work. So not only will you have to have a portfolio of artwork if you want to work for these game studios, but you're actually going to have to draw something on the spot. And I'm not going to lie, I kind of respect it. I think the only issue with this would be is, because you know how people are. Who's to say that someone really is an artist, but they become lazy and they draw something on the spot, or they're not an artist, or let me finish my original point. They draw something on the spot, and then after that, they go and use AI. Like, I feel like you're still going to have to scan your artist's work to see if they're using generative AI, if you're going to put stuff in video games. And then also on the opposite end of the spectrum, who's to say that someone who wants to be a game developer or artist in a game studio doesn't practice drawing something? I feel like in order for this to work, they need to say, they need to name something random. Hey, draw Goku. Like, it can't be something that they're prepared for, because what could also happen is somebody could just practice drawing Elmo for like 3 months, get decent at it, draw Elmo in front of them, and then get the job. And then they go use, Mid-Journey or some shit like that. But yeah, I think that's a good way of putting it, Nightmare. This is a step in the right direction, I think. In a quote, they said, there are many people who claim that their artwork generated by AI is their own creation, Mr. B explained. We've actually ended up hiring such people only to find they weren't productive, which led to several problems. I'm not gonna lie, some of y'all are bold. Y'all aren't just posting stuff on Facebook, but you're going actively to major game studios and applying for jobs as an artist. I know the job market is out of whack right now, but that's top tier stupid right there. You trying to be a pilot and ain't never got your pilot license. What are we talking about here? They say because of that, we've changed our hiring process and it now requires candidates to draw something in person during the interview to verify their skills. As a recruiter, it's a huge hassle and it feels like we're going backwards in time, but I've heard that other companies are doing the same thing. It's a pain in the ass, but they got to do what you got to do. The source noted that while this is the current situation, it could change in the future as upper management continues to ask questions like, do we even need to hire creators when generative AI is good enough, or should we hire people who are masters at using generative AI? Meaning this is what they're doing now, but they could switch up at any point. And it could, right here, they're saying maybe because they want to use AI, but it also could just be they're tired of the process, right? Having to interview each applicant and make them draw might get a little long in the tooth for some people. But artificial intelligence has been part of the game design for years. Would you say the generative is more of the problem? Yeah, I think that's where a lot of people are pissed off. An example being is I saw on the timeline the other day, and I'm paraphrasing it. It was something along the lines of some medical company figured out a way to use AI to detect cancer early in your cells, so then you can destroy it before it ever becomes a problem. Like pre-cancer type shit. They found they discovered an algorithm using AI to discover it inside of your body. And the person replied and they was like, this is how humans want to see technology be used. And I agree. I think everybody would be like, okay, that's a good use of AI. But when it comes to like drawing, like, nah, like also a lot of those drawings lack the expression and the emotion, I think, of someone compared to who draws. But it depends. Like certain things I think it can be used for, like streamlining stuff, but other stuff I think it should be left up to human. The lack of quality in the yeah, and then there's a lack of quality too. I think that pisses people off too. It's not just that they're using it, it's very obvious you're using it. Motherfuckers be Call of Duty posting cards with 12 fingers. I mean, 15 toes on the character. It's like, bro, nobody looked at this. That's sloppy. That is sloppy. So I think that's the issue. I think there's a middle ground that we can find, but the way direction it's going in, where they're just trying to take over everything, I don't think that's the solution either. I saw a tweet where Beanie Siegel recorded a song with AI replicating his voice. I saw that too. And, you know, I think I'm okay with that because, I mean, it's his voice. He greenlit it. As long as they're not using it for something else. I know what you're talking about. So, like, for those unaware, Beanie Siegel's a rapper that was popular in the early 2000s. He was part of Jay-Z's label, and he got shot a few years back, and his voice changed. It's like super raspy now. Well, they found a way to use AI to duplicate his voice. And I think what he does is he goes into the booth and he still raps, but then they put the filter over his raspy voice so it sounds like the original voice. I guess I'm okay with that. Like, that doesn't bother me. Like, that's giving him something back. Yeah, big state property. Big state property. What's up, dude? But you know, to each its own. To each its own. So let it be known, at least Japan is trying. Now, will the West copy? I don't know. I feel like when it comes to certain business aspects, the Japanese have more ethics and morals. I feel like in the West, I know the president of the United States has a meme coin and nobody has a problem. Well, I don't want to say nobody, but half the country doesn't see the issue with that. In the West, we care way too much about money, I think. And I have another story involving AI that's going to probably piss y'all off in the next batch of articles. We'll talk about it. But keeping it in the realm of actual AI, it's a bunch of AI stuff today. Keeping it in the realm of AI, if you remember a few months ago, there was a story that broke. It happened like right after Bungie did Marathon's playtest alpha, and everybody was saying that game was basura. It was hella mid. Literally like a few days after the alpha, after the alpha ended, they got the worst PR because not only were people not fucking with the game like that, it turns out that Bungie stole some art from an artist and they didn't credit him. What's the name? It seems we have an update on that story. You know, we try to be fair here. Bungie got a lot of flack for that. They went into hiding, and it seems they've resolved the issue. According to this article, Bungie's Marathon plagiarism scandal finally resolved to a satisfaction of the impacted artists. Anti-Real, the artist at the heart of the plagiarism scandal involving Bungie's upcoming extraction shooter Marathon, has posted a statement on social media indicating the saga has come to a close. Taken to Twitter, Anti-Real posted the following tweet. The Marathon art issue has been resolved with Bungie and Sony Interactive Entertainment to my satisfaction. There has been no follow-up by Anti-Real elaborating on the situation, nor has any statement been released on the official Marathon social media account. This appears to be the end of the Marathon plagiarism woes. Some responding to Anti-Real's statement are speculating that it was made part of a deal between Anti-Real and Bungie. However, this has not been verified. Translation, my man said they cut the check. And this is a perfect segue from the last article. This was a big deal because what happened was it wasn't everybody at Bungie that was stealing people's art. It was one person in specific that got caught. It was like some icons, some like middle school stuff in the game, but it wasn't drawn by them. So like that specific developer on the team got shamed, and it looks like they tried to fix the issue. So, over here we crack jokes, but I think it's also fair. I think it's important to be fair and say shout out to Bungie for trying to make things right. They recognized that it was wrong. It was one person that was under the banner. It wasn't the entire, organization. So shout out to them for making it right. The game still look ass though. It was a lady. Oh, my fault. The lady that she got paid. Shout out to her. Game still look mid as hell though. I ain't playing that shit. But shout out to Bungie for making things right, man. Other news. Former Nexon CEO says AAA games are in the end of days. They're at the end of their days, and AI is about to rewrite everything. That's right. I told you we got a lot of AI related stories today. Veteran games executive and former Nexon CEO. It's always Nexon. Nexon, NetEase, these companies, Tencent, they just love microtransactions. Believes that the video game industry is on the cusp of a massive information, and that is the AI is at the center of it. He argues that AI is already integrated into many aspects of game development, from asset production to testing tools, and that its impact will only intensify. In an interview with the game business, Mahoney explains that the AAA sector is facing what he bluntly calls an end of days moment. Costs are skyrocketing. Development cycles are slowing, and publishers are becoming increasingly risk adverse, adding that the industry often misunderstands where the value truly comes from. Okay, first and foremost, we've been over this a million times on the stream. My stance, they are correct. The cost of game development is skyrocketing. A lot of these games cost hundreds of millions of dollars, but I cannot stress enough, whose fault is that? That's not my fault. That's not you, the viewer's fault. This is the publisher's fault, because they all want to make these live service games, or they want to make these bloated blockbuster games. And one thing I will say, that's because like people love to say gaming is dead. I say, no, it's different. I think it's in a great space creatively. But one thing that they can do is, if they are worried about taking risk, make smaller games. We'll also get more unique IP. So then you don't have it blows my mind that these people who wear these suits don't understand that you should keep your overhead as low as possible. If rent is $1,000, you need to make $1,001 to make a profit. If you're trying to make 2,000, keep that damn game development at 1,000. Like, why do you guys keep making these $200 million games? Nobody asked for, because to be honest, and a lot of these live service games are just iterations of themselves. Y'all tell me, what's the difference between Suicide Squad Kill the Justice League and The First Disappointment, aka The First Descendant? It's a rhetorical question. I'll tell you the difference. One has big titty anime chicks and the other one has DC superheroes, but the gameplay loop is exactly the same. Now, if I'm a fan of one over the other, which by the way, you're crazy if you like either game, why the fuck would I play one over the other? My time is limited. Like, if I'm already invested in The First Disappointment, or Destiny 2 is probably a better example. If I'm already invested in Destiny 2, Fortnite, why the fuck would I go play The First Disappointment? If I'm already playing Warframe, why would I go play the Suicide Squad? This is the part that I feel like these suits don't understand. We as human beings don't have unlimited money, and we damn for sure don't have unlimited time. Some of us are, a lot of y'all are getting off from your jobs, your 9-to-5s, you cook dinner, you hang out with the kids for a little bit, the wife, and then you got an hour or two to yourself before bed. You finna hop on Battlefield 6, run a match or two, and go to bed. I don't have time to be this invested in every goddamn game. Responding to examples of failed studios with prestigious founders, Mahoney says the examples that you just gave were we bought this company because 5 years ago they made some game, so therefore they're good. It doesn't work that way at all. And insists that game companies are really just collections of people. He believes that success depends on understanding their motivation and creative drive, not past hits. I disagree with that. Game companies are really just collections of people. On a surface level, yes, but I feel like that's such a executive suit way of looking at things. If game companies really are just a collection of people, why is Rare such ass nowadays? The Rare of the early 2000s and the 90s is not the Rare of today. And the difference is there was a level of passion. There was a group of guys that built it together, guys and girls that built it together that had like a specific vision. So yes, it's a collection of people, but it's also a collection of people that were passionate about making certain types of games. I think the reason why Platinum Games makes such good action games is because that's what they're passionate about. And it's a bunch of like-minded people that came together. Little pieces move in and out, but I feel like the studios that are like the biggest in the industry are always known for something. BioWare is known for RPGs. Same thing with CD Projekt Red. And these are people who got together because they wanted to make X, Y, and Z. But you can't just throw 50 aspiring game developers who just graduated from Full Sail University together on a team and say, let's make something. Like, you can't just do that sometimes, but usually people who come up together usually create things better. Like those are like the story of Bungie. They're great. Also, the reason why you can't do that with Full Sail is because them niggas suck, but that's beside the point. Like, them niggas make AAA mobile games. But anyways, what else did he say? Mahoney, in contrast, embarks success with broader structural problems holding AAA development back. He describes the impossible situation faced by public company CEOs. You're running a $23 billion company, and you have to make a decision in a very short period of time to greenlight a project. If that new project doesn't do well, you're going to be explaining to your board why you just burnt $300 million in company cash. Proving my point. That is the problem. A collection of quality people is what he should have said. Yeah, that probably would have been a better way of wording it. But this right here is the problem. I feel like this is a very unique thing to gaming. Why do they feel like every game needs to be $300 million? From my understanding, Expedition 33 took like $50 to $60 million to make, and they made that shit back real quick because it's one of the best selling games of the year. He continues that one failure is survivable, but if you do it again, they're going to be calling openly on your head. And by the third time, you have an activist investor. Mahoney thinks this kind of pressure makes executives fund only familiar ideas, worsening the cycle. The AAA industry is structurally at its end, he adds. Despite this bleak diagnosis, Mahoney is optimistic about what AI could unlock. He acknowledges that AI has an unbelievable ability to create a lot of slop, but so does Photoshop. He even argues that audiences will continue rejecting slop and bad products and only demand good products. Here's another problem with AI. AI is, they're over-promising and under-delivering, and I feel like these companies are just way too all in on this shit. I've used it before. Like I've used Claude AI to help me with video titles, right? So like sometimes I'll help it with ideation. I'll spit like some video titles that I have in my head and be like, give me a way you think that you can improve the title based off formulas that I've used in the past. And what I've noticed about it is AI is very good at reading data and suggesting you things off of things that have worked in the past. But what I've also noticed is it's never good at creating anything. The only thing that it can help me do is improve myself, but I still have to be there. And that's the problem with removing the human element. It can only read the data, but it can't create from nothing. So at most, if I'm looking to try some new title ideas, all it can do is maybe help me improve it based off patterns that are working on YouTube and patterns that I've created. But it almost never gives me a successful title out of fucking nothing. That's on a small scale. We're talking about video games. These motherfuckers is talking about putting $300 million into some AI and saying, make the next God of War. Nigga, get the fuck out my face. Someone inspired made that. Someone inspired made that. That shit is fire in Expedition. You're not just gonna make that out of fucking nowhere. It's just an upgraded Google search. Basically, I'm gonna be honest. I feel like where AI is right now is someone who uses it just some in my workflow. It's good for research and ideation. But outside of that, it's not. You can't use that shit, bro. They're over promising. It's a bubble that's gonna explode. Corpse using AI as an excuse. Brr, shit is fucking stupid, man. What'd he say? He continues that one failure is survivable, but if you do it again, they're going to be calling openly for your head. And by the third time, you have an activist investor. Mahoney thinks this kind of pressure makes executives fund only. Oh, I already read that. But it's all about asking the right questions. If you don't know how to finesse it, then you're gonna get pure trash. How's that even an argument? What's good for me isn't good to somebody else. Prime example, I enjoy Suicide Squad and I still play it from time to time. I don't understand what point you're trying to make. I don't understand what point you're trying to make. Are you just trying to defend Suicide Squad? Is that? I don't understand the point you're trying to make. The point I was making is that like even if there are 10 amazing live service games on the market, most of them are still going to fail because we don't have enough money or time to play them. That was the argument I was making, mainly. That was a YouTube it was. You kind of lost me, Doug. You okay? Well, I like Suicide Squad. You're taking the jokes about Suicide Squad being ass a little too much to heart. The main point flew over your head. Earth to YouTube. We got a Suicide Squad. Hey, if you like it, we love it, man. Do your thing, dog. Do your thing. But that wasn't the main point. The joke about the Suicide Squad wasn't the main point. It was about the lack of time and resources. Oh boy. More importantly, he sees AI as a force that will empower smaller teams, shorter development timelines, and introduce entirely new forms of play. Just nigga said, Earth to YouTube, just as the internet once did. I continue to believe that the industry will probably triple in the next 5-7 years, just like every major wave of technology has made a major positive impact on the video games industry. That's crazy. He says he believes the industry will triple in the next 5 to 7 years, meaning growth, money, but they don't want to pay anybody. It's fucking crazy. I tried hopping on Black Ops 7 and the gameplay is objectively worse than Black Ops 6. You know what's funny? I feel like most people I've seen play Black Ops 7 say the gameplay is actually better than Black Ops 6. The problem with Black Ops 7, and correct me if I'm wrong, let me know if you feel the same way. What I've seen most people say, the main problem with Black Ops 7 is that's what Black Ops 6 should have been. It feels like Black Ops 6 1.5, like, but like I feel like I've seen mostly people. Now everybody does agree the story is ass, but I feel like I've seen mostly people say that the multiplayer is good. It's just too sweaty. I ain't playing that shit. Kill the Justice League is not the hill to die on. We on tonight. If you trying to run it, yeah. If you trying to run it, yeah. It felt more like an expansion than a full blown game, and I feel like that's a fair take to Call of Duty. I've heard it's pretty good too. Yeah, I've heard the same thing. I'm just not paying the money to play it. I refuse to, and I'm not getting Game Pass. He said, I swear we all ain't stupid over here. I know y'all not. It's just I know everybody in the YouTube chat is not dumb, to be fair. But I'm not gonna lie, here's what I'll say about the YouTube chat. Not all dumb comments when I stream come from the YouTube chat, but I will say most do. Oh shit, yeah, I need a dub. I got second 3 times in a row today. But is Brooke still in the chat? She was in here earlier. Be ready to go. Be ready to go in about probably 45 minutes. Oh shit. Hitman 4 unofficially revealed by IO Interactive. It's been a busy few years by IO Interactive at the company, as the company has been expanding Hitman's world of assassination and developing 007 First Light. But the company plans for the future may have been somewhat revealed by IO CEO. Hitman 3 evolved into the world of assassination in 2023. The game became larger than life as it began to add celebrity cameos as part of the new mission, and this was all while IO Interactive was working on 007 First Light. But fear not, if you think major Hitman content is being put to one side, you can eliminate those fears. Of course, there's going to be another Hitman. IO Interactive CEOs recently spoke to Variety about the Hitman franchise in general, the company's work on 007 First Light, and anything else down the pipeline. First Light is still scheduled for a launch in March 2026. We look forward to it. That's probably the only IP we'll work on externally that is not ours. The conversation then moved to Hitman, the franchise's history, and what's next. He says, so of course we'll have more Hitman, but right now I think we need to get to the other sides of this year and next year, and you'll get more news about Hitman's co-op, because I think co-op is really, really good. Extension to the universe, and will introduce very interesting mechanics and combinations in the world of assassination. But we will, after that, be talking about the next Hitman, because of course there's going to be another Hitman. So there you go. Does it mean it's coming tomorrow? No, but they said they're not done with it. There will be more. Yo, shout out to Burge with the subs. Appreciate it. And to me, I say it's not a shocker. I mean, this is what they're known for. I don't feel like they have enough IPs under their belt to abandon the Hitman IP yet. I think if 007 works for them, they'll be able to probably keep that license, maybe get 1 or 2 more games under their studio belt, and then they can start shifting away. But right now, it's just kind of what they're known for. After Absolution, I stopped keeping up with the story. Honestly, Hitman is one of those games where, like, I would never call it trash. It's just not for me. I just can't get into it. And I like stealth games. Like, Splinter Cell is my favorite stealth series. But for some reason, I just can't get into Hitman. I think it's like I don't like the character of Agent 47. He's just Jeff Bezos, and the pacing. I'm not a big fan of the pacing. But yeah, I don't know why I just could never get into this series. So I just say it's not for me. But I played a couple of them. What else I got for you? Yeah, you play as Jeff Bezos with a silencer. In positive news, Helldivers 2 PC install size is now 85% smaller, but not automatically. Here's how to free up the space. That's right, ladies and gentlemen, Helldivers 2 just became more optimized. Helldivers 2 on PC just got a whole lot smaller, with the developer Arrowhead Studios announcing a new slim version of the game that reduces the game install base by 131 gigabytes. Call of Duty, please take notes, because I feel like this is a conversation that isn't talked about enough. The size of the game is part of the conversation when it comes to optimization, and I feel like a lot of games are not respecting our hard drive space, especially considering the fact that PS5 launched with like 500 gigabytes or some shit like that, 600, whatever the fuck it was. Like, if y'all gonna skimp on, especially with the PS6 around the corner and the new Xbox, if y'all trying to put next gen hardware in there and make it as powerful as possible, and you feel like you got to skimp somewhere, so you got to put a smaller hard drive in there to keep the price down, Can we start optimizing the size of the games better? Fans of PCs have long complained about the PC version of the huge install size, which since the game's launch in 2024 ballooned to 154 gigabytes. That's much larger than the close to 22 gigabyte size of the console version. That's crazy. Why is it so much bigger? Maybe the texture packs. Arrowhead stated in a new blog post and a long-term goal has been to reduce the PC install size, but that now will help with Nix's software. The goal has become a reality. They've reduced the size of the software by 85%. Compress them damn files. There you go. They just compress the files and then give it an option for people who want to play the uncompressed version for better visuals or whatever. And speaking of like bringing down the prices of consoles and computers, we're gonna talk about it in a second because I got some bad news for y'all. The audio files is taking up too much space. Anybody still playing Helldivers? I'd rather have worse performance than less space, honestly. Really? Nah. Wait, hold on. Clarify that for me. Define worse performance. Are we talking, you know, it can't hit 60 frames, but it's still doing 50? Or are we talking sub 30? Like, what are you talking about, bro? I don't know about that. I'd rather have the 100 gigabytes and the game runs well. Shout out to the people following, bro. I still play it. Okay. I still hop on. Okay. Yeah, I jump on every now and then. I need 100 FPS minimum. Don't let the console dudes hear that. The human eye can't even see that shit, bro. That shit don't even fucking matter, bro. So interesting, you know, it reduced in size. And then last but not least for this batch of articles, Octopath Traveler Zero, the reviews have come out. In the year where a lot of content creators are saying gaming is dead, there's nothing to play, banger after banger after banger drops. And I do my part every stream to highlight everyone, even though I don't have intentions to play them all. Not because I'm not interested, I just don't have the fucking time or the energy. Another banger has dropped. I'm seeing 10s, 9s, 8s, a few 7s. The current overall Metacritic is at 85 and 82 on OpenCritic. One of the better reviewed games of the year. If you are into turn-based RPGs, Octopath Traveler Zero is getting good reviews. Another banger, just trying to make y'all aware. The demo's fire and the progress carries over. The demo's fire and the progress carry over. That's what the chat says. Are you going to do a year in review for all these games? A year in review? I'll do like a tier list of like my favorite and least favorite games that I played. I'll do that. But like a written video, I don't think it's worth it. The last few that I've done, like they didn't really perform well. Y'all know I'm a numbers guy now. That's where AI has helped me. Like I'll put my data in and see what kind of titles work, and what ideas work, and you got to double down on that stuff. Let's see. Yeah, tier list would be good. Will Pink Eye be in the top tier? You know that shit S tier. Come on now, big.